Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, November 11th, and it is time for another Creative Consultation Monday Morning Kickstart with me, Brenda J. Lilly. I hope you like this video, and if you do, please like it, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know so we can all encourage each other and grow. All right, I'll see you on the flip side. Well, it is Monday morning, so it's time for Monday Morning Kickstart with me, Brenda J. Lilly. I've got my big blue cup of coffee, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope you are too. Today, I want to talk about the small joys of life. We could talk about the big joys too, but I want to take in the small joys. I don't want us to miss these small moments in life that can absolutely fill us to the full with the joy we need for the battles ahead. So often we think about the big strokes of life. We think about how we're going to get from point A to point B. We've talked about that on this channel, how to get from point A to point B, how to create a plan, a strategic plan, how to set goals, all of that stuff. We've talked about that. We've even talked about change and how sometimes things don't go your way, and so we've talked about not getting stuck. We've talked about a lot of things. But the fuel, I was at church yesterday and there was a song we were singing and it just filled me up with joy. It was like the song was speaking my story to me. And so I felt seen and heard in that moment. And it was nothing that the band knew about. It was nothing that, it wasn't a choice that the church made to help me. It was just a little moment, I think, between me and God. So I got really happy in that moment, and I got filled with joy in that moment. And I realized that so often in this life, we get so focused on the big things and on the hard things and on the struggle that we forget that the fuel that we function on as human beings really is joy. That's the thing that keeps us floating, keeps us buoyant, keeps us moving, keeps us motivated, right? There are other things that people use as motivating factors for momentary things. Sometimes anger can be a motivating factor, but it cannot sustain you. It cannot. It crushes you eventually. It makes you stop. It makes you anger, first of all, is a secondary emotion. And so you can function in it for so long, but the other emotions that it's masking will come to the surface eventually and they'll stop you. That is not fuel, not for the long haul, not for the long journey, not for the long game. Joy is. And so we need to start taking in those moments, clocking those small moments of wonder and joy and put them in our hearts and keep them there and remember them. Write them down in a journal if you need to. But seriously, think on those things. Think on the good things are in your life. So often we get hampered and stuck in the mud and mire of all of the tough, the bad, and wrong. And there's plenty of it in this world. There is plenty of it. But if that is all we concentrate on, if that is all we focus on, oh, I almost flipped my computer over. If that's all we focus on, we're going to burn out really fast. We might have a flame for a moment. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about anger. Anger can be a flame for a moment, but joy is a sustaining flame. It's the thing that keeps your fires lit forever. And it's that thing that attracts other people to you, right? Because they want what you have. They want to know people who are filled up with joy. I can remember my mom saying when I was a teenager, and think about teenagers for just a moment. And if you are one, this is not, I'm not trying to shame you. It's just what is. Teenagers, I actually said this the other day. It can be a dangerous time of life because teenagers get so focused on what is right in front of them, this moment right here, as if it's the only thing, as if there's nothing else and there is no future beyond this moment. And so it can be a dangerous time of life because we really cannot see the forest all around us because of this one tree that's standing in front of us, blocking our view. And so that blockade becomes a barrier to, and if it's not a good blockade, it becomes a barrier to any goodness in life, any joy in life. And I think that it's not just teenagers that have this struggle. It is certainly a struggle for teenagers, because they lack life experience. So once you get to, your 30s, your 40s, you realize, this too shall pass. I wish I would have known that when I was a kid. I wish I would have known that when I was a teenager. So think about teenagers. They're sullen. They're sulky. They can't see their way around things, and all the way into young adults until your brain starts to really fully come into its own, right? All the chemicals start to balance out a little bit. Joy is hard to find when you are in those times of life. And joy can be hard to find and hold on to when you are in transition, when you are in discovery of what could be, when you're waiting for something to come to fruition, when you've been working at something for so long and it seems like it's all coming to nothing or like it's wasted time. Yeah, there's so many things that we can focus on that pull us away from our joy. But our joy is the fuel for our life. And so the more we focus on it, the more we feed our souls with that rather than all of the other stuff that we could feed it with. That doesn't mean we don't deal with it. You have to keep on spinning all the plates. You have to keep on moving forward in every way. You have to keep on solving problems that come up, especially as an adult. You're always going to have momentary troubles and struggles you're going to have to work through and find a solution for. You can't hide from them, but it doesn't mean they become everything you focus on. Because if you don't fill up your tank with joy, It's like you've forgotten your arm floaties and you don't know how to swim. And that's not okay. No parent would put a young child into a swimming pool who does not know how to swim without a flotation device. Joy is our flotation device. That's what I think. That's what I wanted to talk to you today. So, do you have joy in your life? Do you recognize those moments, those small little bubbles of hope and joy and wonder and pleasure? Do you recognize them? Do you clock them? Do you take them in and let them fill you up? Do you talk about them with other people? Right? I had this wonderful moment in rehearsal yesterday. We're rehearsing for Christmas Carol. I think this is year 7 of taking this show out on tour during this Christmas season. And I've, because of a cast change, and yeah, we're I was able to rewrite one of the scenes in the show, a couple of the scenes in the show, but specifically rewrite the future and make it deeper, bring us to, yeah, more emotional, just sort of a bigger emotional climactic moment and than we've ever had before. And we were rehearsing that scene yesterday, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're so evil." And we were all laughing and having, I mean, this is the tragic moment of the show. And that's the beautiful thing about theater and rehearsals. When you're doing a tragedy, there's generally in the rehearsal hall so much joy and levity because we need it in order to feel safe going to those deep, dark, emotional places, right? And so there was so much joy and levity in the room, and it was wonderful to be a part of. And it filled my tank up. And I needed it because I was about to go into yet another hard conversation afterwards. And so it filled me up to the full. There was a moment in church yesterday morning where I got filled up, right? There's a moment when I was walking my dog this morning. I mean, she took me on such a long walk. I've been told to shorten her walk so she has less. She's very reactive to other animals, other dogs specifically. She doesn't really like cats much either, but it's big dogs, not small dogs. So hallelujah for that. But I was told to shorten her walk time so that there's less potential of her having a bad interaction. And so that she can win while she's getting used to this area, getting used to me. You know, she's a new dog to me, and she's a Romanian street dog, so she's used to being on her own and having to fight her own battles, right? So it's a learning process for both of us, and she's wonderful, frankly. And she just sniffs out a route where there is no conflict, and I love that about her. But this morning, I'm thinking, okay, we'll take a 10-minute walk and we'll be back in the house. This morning, we were out for 45 minutes because she's just sniffing and having a good time. And, and she saw some ducks and she just sort of looked at them because I don't know if she's ever seen ducks before. Well, actually, they were pretty big. So she was looking at them and she got a little engaged, but she wasn't barking or anything. And I was like, wow, look at her go. Look at her just becoming this confident little thing. And it filled me with such joy. I clocked that moment. And then we got back to our home area, and there were these two little dogs that came out of their house in the morning, and they, their mom was at her front door, and these two little dogs came running over to her and they played. And I just went, look at that. Look at her having a good time. Isn't that wonderful? These are small things. These are not life shifting, life altering, world shaking moments. These are small moments of joy Those moments are so important. And so I just encourage you this week to go forth looking for those moments, appreciating those moments, and take them in and let them become the fuel for your days. All right. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.